Good morning, Tony Topping here, and we're talking about aliens and UFOs. I've not done it for quite a while, spoken on camera, and I've seen a lot going on in the media at the moment. It's just taken ages to actually get a into my head together what I wanted to say, and I thought I'd leave it. It's easy, very easy indeed, to talk on camera about the UFO situation, but it's choosing the right moment when it's relevant to say something, as far as I'm concerned. And today is a good day to speak to camera about this situation. I notice in the headlines that the Special Air Service of this country are engaged in training programs to defeat an alien invasion. And as I'm getting lots of questions about this from emails about an alien invasion, I'd like to, in my own way, set the record straight as a person who is a contact experiencer, a person who's had contact with UFOs. I'm the kind of person that everybody looks at but nobody notices. Even the UFOs do that. They fly in, they fly out, everybody notices, everybody looks, but nobody really pays attention to what's actually going on. And I'd like to shed some light on this. I'm currently writing a book at the moment, and I'll do a separate video piece on that. It's called Alien, the Secret UFO Chronicles. It's the story of quite a clandestine life that I've led. I've seen a lot in 45 years. I've seen a lot actually to put me in a mental institution with all that I have seen and all that has gone on with the extreme paranormal experiences that I've had that involve UFOs. And one of the things I want to address is the spin polarization. There is a polarization, a spin in the media towards our understanding of extraterrestrials as being hostile and they're invading us. This is farcical. In fact, it's laughable to hear all this going on, and I'm going to set the record straight on it. Let's give a bit of a background. Currently, with this thing to do with the Special Air Service, that they're being specially trained to deal with ETs, our military has not got the capacity to deal with an ET invasion, full stop. In fact, I would suggest after 45 years of dealing with all this, that basically our government, for example, and I'm thinking really out the box here, would need specialist support from ETs to deal with an ET invasion. And now I've had lots of emails about this. Tony, are ETs invading? No, 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 it doesn't work like that in real life. ETs are not invading. It's very difficult, I assure you, very difficult indeed for ETs to invade Earth. It's difficult and it's complex. Why? Because these things that we see in the skies above us are divided into two camps. It's easier to look at it this way. I note that we've got this continual media spin of a threat, they're a threat, but none of the, when we drill down into this, none of the nitty-gritty is actually mentioned. This prompted me to speak to camera because of a very brave man I met I met at a conference who indicated, at a talk I gave, indicated that he was in the military. He indicated he was actually very high up in the military. The event organisers can confirm this. And what was interesting was what he had to tell me before he even got round to the subject of UFOs. And from what he was telling me, he had a very high security clearance. He gave me the precise details of it, but he said that when he looked at the UFO phenomena, he couldn't get any information because it was higher than his clearance. And he was saying that they take it very seriously. And what was interesting was that he was looking into the fact that some special forces units had encountered aliens. Now, I do not think for 1 minute that these meetings may have been friendly. You only have to look at some of the, let's just think out the box a minute, viewer. Let's have a look in my strange world of tricks. For example, one thing is Operation Tabilan. Not a lot of people have heard of Operation Tabilan. Operation Tabilan was when the British Special Boat Service had decided to go to the assistance of a missing marine unit in Antarctica, so the story goes, because this marine unit had been collared or injured or whatever, or attacked by something called polar men. And according to the witness, it's in Nexus magazine if you ever want to look it up online, or just look up Operation Tabilan. According to the witness, who was interviewed over a period of 10 years, who was ex-Royal Marine, according to the witness, they had been attacked by polar men. He'd seen it. They were like giant yetis. There was absolutely hell on over it. They were targeted, and the Nazis appeared to be in the area as well after World War II. So there's that situation going on. And at the moment, what they did is the current state of play is this: everybody misreads it as an alien threat. No, it's not an alien threat. It's an alien Cold War. And you may ask, oh, how have I reached that conclusion? Well, an alien Cold War is a very interesting concept, because what you've got is the equivalent of an alien Russia and an alien NATO in the skies above us, and they're in conflict with each other. This is known via certain contact experiences. That there's this big argument, this big Barney going on in the skies above. We're not being invaded. They'd have already done it. They would have already done it. And if you're talking invasion, this is where it gets really interesting, actually. I won't go deeply into it at the moment. But you're talking kind of like biblical, you're talking angels versus demons. You're talking like the US agency, the Collins Elite, who actually looked into this and strongly believed that an element of the UFO phenomenon was in the demonic, was in the area of that. It is also true to say that the Russians looked at all this, and there's something called contact in metacosmos operations. And they had a very clear understanding of the fact that there was a hierarchy, there was spiritual involvement, and the fact of the matter was that we were not being invaded. If we were being invaded by an alien force, it would be repelled by another alien force. I can assure you that's what's going on behind the scenes. So what is the picture? What is the actual picture that's going on? I write in my book, Alien, the Secret UFO Chronicles. It's the forthcoming book that I'm doing, and I write in it about the fact that you could define this alien threat into three triad. So what you've actually got is alien v alien, a kind of like biblical angels, demons type scenario going on, and nature. So you've got actually three threats going on, but an alien force cannot invade us without the intervention of the opposite alien force, and this is absolutely correct, but they're using it as spin. And the question is why? Well, that's to do with the acquisition of technology. It went all very wrong after World War II, and I use this in the public domain as an example, when somebody turned up on America's doorstep asking if they wanted a used UFO free of charge. And of course, the Americans, or whoever they were, said, yes, we'll have this free UFO off you, definitely. How nice of you. And they went, thank you very much, but don't look at what we're doing. We're going to move in down the road, in the house down the road. Please don't look at what we're doing. Don't intervene, but you can have this high-tech toy free of charge. And so, for the sake of technological acquisition, to which they have nothing to show for, a most extraordinary pantomime farce and lie has been spinned across the population of this planet that we are somehow being invaded. What they didn't tell you, and what they dare not tell you, is the fact that we're looking outwards with our satellites to try and search for extraterrestrial life, when in fact it's in our own backyard. Aliens from our oceans and aliens in mountain regions have bases here. They definitely do. Just ask any particular government, and if they were to come clean, they'd tell you that was the case. So at the moment, somehow, for some very bizarre and twisted reason, this alien invasion spin is covering ass for some reason over something that is going on behind the scenes that isn't very pleasant. And there's elements of it that I certainly can't talk about because it's just not safe to do so. But it's outrageous that this lie is being spun. If you look at the work of Dr. Stephen Greer, you will see very clearly that he is correct when he says there is corruption in the area of unacknowledged special access projects. These are the things where, let's say, the president or even our prime minister picks up the phone and says, can you tell us about UFOs? And the person on the other end of the phone would say, no, I can't tell you anything about it, sorry, because it's compartmentalized information. So you now have a scenario of one hand not knowing what the other's doing with the UFO phenomenon, and a polarized spin going on that they're somehow invading us, when in fact they've already been here and been here for centuries. And, for example, when it comes to our oceans, are using our bases quite routinely. They're using the oceans as bases, should I say. So this SAS guy, or whatever he was, this guy who was high up in the military, he said that he couldn't make any sense out of it. It wasn't clear as to what was going on, and it isn't clear for very important purposes. I personally think that they would sooner have a war with each other and nuke each other than actually admit the existence of life outside of us, or of the fact that in the oceans deep there is life out there. I mean, you get it. For example, the Nimitz carrier group. They turn up in the oceans. Then possibly the Navy possibly suspect where these UFO bases are. They're nuked up. It's like something out of the movie The Abyss. So it's no surprise, is it, that suddenly a UFO appears and it's hostilely posturing against them, because obviously nuclear is a very big issue with these aliens. So I would say that far from being invaded, we should actually open the hailing frequencies and listen to them, because we may learn a lot from them and we may gain a great deal, and we may see quite a different strategic picture than the nefarious spin that's being spun at the moment, which I'm very suspicious of currently in the media. And Dr. Greer is quite correct. There is highly evolved spiritual beings out there. They're highly evolved and highly intelligent, and that we're being spun a lie. In the past 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I've had some very strange and hair-raising experiences that I won't go into too much on camera, because we face ridicule, we face being stitched up by the media. There's a lot of factors involved, but I will say this, that I've had a liaison with these UFOs spanning nearly 45 years, and I would just say that only 2 weeks ago I had this. I'll share this story with you. About 2 weeks ago, I was quite tired actually. I was half asleep with it all, and I felt this room literally lift off as if it was travelling through time and space, as if it was gliding actually more quieter than a train. And the interior of this craft was pure white. I mean, it was whiter than white, you know. And making an entry was beings that are reported across this world as Nordics, blonde, blue-eyed individuals and one of them appeared in front of me, and I was left in no doubt at all that we are being lied to, and the fact is there is a truth of their existence. They're real, and they're here, and they're using bases on Earth, and the conflict is more of a Cold War one among them than it is a direct invasion to humanity from an alien force, and this is what we must understand. So I'm hoping for more information from them. I'm currently writing my book at the moment, which has some absolutely hair-raising experiences that began in '97, technically speaking, and then the UFO started flying in 1999. I won't plug the book in this section. I'm just specifically giving clarification as to what this type of alien threat is. The juxtaposition, I suppose, the awkward scenario of all this, however, is that one has to have eyes in their ass at all times. It's an uncertain universe. Even some of the ETs who are higher evolved would say that it is an uncertain universe. It's an unpredictable one. Even some of these guys in their UFOs don't actually know what's out there fully. It's a mysterious universe, if you get my drift. But I'm talking from the perspective of somebody who knows that they exist, somebody who knows that they are not a threat and that we're being lied to constantly. And this lie has like a momentum to it that sends possibly humanity in a direction that it doesn't want to go in. And we're being warned. We are persistently and constantly being warned by them. So when does the alien threat become a warning that the directions we are taking could affect world peace, for example, among human beings? The directions we are taking could affect us so that war begins among human beings. These are the very real warnings that they're giving. An alien force could not invade because it would be intercepted by a bigger alien force. There is strength in numbers. And in terms of percentages out there in that big universe, there are more higher evolved alien culture star nations than there are ones who would be of evil intent. But there are unpleasant goings on among them. And it is quite farcical to see this being spinned in the media because they wanted the tech. They sacrificed liberty for the acquisition of technology. And I think Colonel Philip Corso touches on the surface of all this when he said that the Roswell UFO crash was related to the acquisition of high-tech technology that we see in some of our products today, from televisions to computers, all back-engineered from these downcraft, allegedly. So that's currently what I see at the moment, that we're being lied to, and it's laughable when you know what goes on. And in 45 years of dealing with this over the recent weeks, I've had things happen that have left me speechless, frankly, and I'm going to write about them because I just can't articulate it into words. I really can't, but the assessment is accurate. It's a cold war among aliens. Oh, most definitely it is. Okay, I'll give a further update later on in the week, and we'll call this Alien Chronicle Volume number 1, I think we'll call it. So, thank you very much for listening. Over and out.